Ladies and gentlemen of the old world, I hope you're all doing well, and welcome to this community showdown. It's going to be the Warriors of Chaos led by Kane facing off against the Dark Elves, who shall be helmed by Claw here on Crystal Lake. Archon versus Supreme Sorceress. Very off-meta build, by the way. Super different stuff. Normally with Chaos, you see a more Marauder-centric lines, and then for your armor piercing, you'll see, maybe like Armored Chaos Trolls or Blood Beasts or things like that, but this is just going to be straight up a shield wall. We have Aspiring Champions, which are really good capture weight stations, essentially. Each model, 16 models, and you divide their HP by that, and they have a lot of HP on the individual model, so it becomes very hard to just bunker bust them off objectives, right? Monsters Infantry have always been pretty durable, like these kind of elite things like the Wrathmongers, the Aspiring Champions, Severed Claw. You guys get the idea. But yeah, Shielded Chaos Warriors against Dark Elves. What are their applications? They'll be good against Bleak Swords and Dread Spears and okay against some of the shooting. Aside from that, they might struggle against a couple elements here, but they are durable, hard to remove, and can certainly sit on objectives here. Aspiring Champions, Archon with Burning Head and Spirit Leech, both very good. And a Hell Cannon. Hell Cannons are pretty excellent against Dark Elves, especially the ROR, because it has way more ammo. I think it's like 40 plus ammo or something like that. But even the basic one isn't bad. Going to be probably the best tool that the Chaos Army has against the Dark Elf build, which is also very awesome. We got two Ganeth Executioners, which will actually be extremely good. Ganeth Executioners are basically a hard counter against Chaos Warriors. With 100 armor, they'll mitigate the damage of the Chaos Warrior, and they'll give the business back to them with 46 weapon strength, big old bonus force infantry of 14. So those are very strong. On top of that, we do have the Medusa. Medusas are really good at clearing out infantry as well. So getting onto the Chaos Warriors, any of those other assets here are going to be very nice. Dark Riders, Doomfire Warlocks, and Scourge Hunter Chariots. Now, I would imagine, even though the Chaos build is off meta, probably does have some Hellstriders in the wings. Kane currently sitting on about 2,000 here. Nice Hell Cannon shot, not bad, and it does look like there is going to be the Supreme Sorcerer, so no, that was the lesser Doombolt coming in from the Doomfire Warlocks. Yeah, where are those Hellstriders at? The Archon's on guard duty. The Warriors of Chaos should definitely kind of fan out a little bit and grab Objective 2 as well. Archie's just waiting. He's baiting. He's like sitting back here. He's like, come at me, bro. And wow, look at that, a Manticore summon. Though that was extremely meta in Warhammer 2, obviously, but summons haven't been as good in Warhammer 3. I don't know if, the folks who still play Land Battle use those, but I would wager they've kind of shifted away. So, fake Manticore is going to be landing, and I'm surprised we're not seeing Hellstriders. Oh my god, okay, Knights of Immolation coming out. Now, Knights of Immolation are anti-large and can certainly kill a Manticore very quickly with a little bit of support. And the Ganeth Executioner is going to be moving up, and this is going to be bad for Chaos. Now, if you're the Chaos player, you would probably want to retreat here. Start running back. There's your home point, win some fights back here, and then counterpunch. Call in some Armored Chaos Trolls or something to fight those Ganeth Executioners. Having Chaos Warriors go into them is going to be very rough. Hellstriders might get a nice pick here. Chariots 84 speed, 100 on the Evil Anteaters. So the Hellstriders are going to be all over them. Meanwhile, Archon and the Doom Knights are able to fend off the Manticore and protect the Hell Cannon. So hey, the Hell Cannon is going to be one of the biggest tools in the game here, as it does continue shooting into the big old Swordmasters here and the Ganeth Executioners, which I think look way cooler than Swordmasters. Those masks are just so rad. And they have the dreaded bald Italian Spartacus haircuts here, you can see. In the front, we do have the Chaos Warriors battling it out, and they get butchered, as expected. Ganeth Executioners are designed to kill such units. On the other side, a bit of a closer fight because it is a 2v1. The Aspiring Champions and the Chaos Warrior are fighting a 2v1 there, but even still, the Ganeth Executioners are living their power fantasy. In the meantime, we do see the Knights of Immolation attacking another summoned Manticore. So wow, the double Manticore summon kind of actually working out well, because here's the thing. This Manticore summon is keeping the Knights of Immolation and Archon back here, so that's like just paying a little bit of Winds of Magic to keep their strongest elements from, fighting in the front lines. Hellstriders coming in and getting a nice charge onto the Doomfire Warlocks, so the Doomfire Warlocks are going to pay the price. They all love Slaanesh here, but with Archon, the Lord of the End Times here on his mighty steed, he will be able to cut those things asunder, so they do get karate chopped right there. Now, it looks like there's going to be a lesser Doombolt or something activated here. This Hell Cannon probably not going to be long for this world. Oh, Amber... Oh, no. So he just Amber Speared the Hell Cannon and hit his own Manticore in the back. Oh, that's really unlucky. Well, happens to the best of us. Here, Ganeth Executioners cleaning up Chaos Warriors despite the Hell Cannon shots, and here the Warriors of Chaos are able to Unga Bunga and win this fight. So, numbers are numbers. And those Aspiring Champions plus the Chaos Warriors and another Chaos Warrior unit were able to 3v1 them, which makes sense. That's going to be 714. Somewhere around 2,500 gold against just over 1,000 here on the Ganeth Executioner. So, yep, that is going to finish those guys off. And now Archon and the Hellstriders is going to be coming up. Claw does have the value lead, and the Hell Cannon, oh my god, the Palpatine Hell Cannon is returned. And that's going to be big, man. The fact that the Dark Elves invested a lot in killing that Hell Cannon, but it still remains, that's very tricksy hobbitses. Knights of Immolation going to be chasing here, and we do see some Harpies going back there. Harpies might be able to be the ones to finish the job. Archon getting a kill on the Medusa would be a big game-changing play as well. And oh my god, a Charybdis! What the hell? Where'd this thing come from? Okay, the Beastmaster here, Claw, is going to be using Pan's Impenetrable Pelt. So it's going to give it some melee defense as well as Fizz Res, which is helpful against the Hellstriders. Chaos grabbing this objective. Marauder Horseman going to be getting objective 1. Low ground objective here, number 3, is going to be going to the Dark Elves, as the Doom Knight's going to be swooping in, helping to defeat the Dark Riders. And in the back, finally, the Dark Elves do lose their Hell Cannon, or excuse me, get the Hell Cannon here. So the Hell Cannon, yep, 2 models left, the Mighty Chaos Dwarves. The first Chaos Dwarves that were in Warhammer. I remember them from Warhammer 1, but they have met their fate. Alright guys, let's take a bit of a macro look at the battlefield. Now Claw appears to have the value lead, but the value tracker is always pretty haggard. He does have double Scourge Runner, Cold One Knights, and the Charybdis. That's a pretty good anti-large kit here. However, if the Supreme Sorceress does get surrounded and or killed here by Archon, that could be pretty terrible. Charybdis though, I mean look, it's not a good unit, but if it can get in melee with something big, it's going to do a little damage. And plus Cold One Knights here are going to be very nice. We have a big pit fight, which is going to be favoring the Druki most likely. They do have access to the Cold One Knights, the Charybdis, which I believe does lower leadership, the Abyssal Howl of -8, so, you know, could help break some of those units. Really, really nice play by Claw here. I love this. Using the Harpies to intercept the Hellstriders. Hellstriders are god-awful against infantry-sized things. These variants are, at least. And the Harpies are infantry-sized. You can tell by looking at the tooltip here. When I mouse over the Harpies, you can see this like little icon here. Well, those are Cold One Knights. It's large, and then if I mouse over the Harpies, you'll see it's a smaller icon there. So Chaos grinding on the objective here. The pit fight continues. The memory remains. Yes, yes. And the Knights of Immolation getting worn down by the Cold One Knights. And Archon, the Everchosen, going to be getting attacked by the Charybdis here, as we do see a Spirit Leech going down onto the Supreme Sorceress. Alright guys, Dark Elves with reinforcements. Witch Elves coming in. Doomfire Warlocks going to be zooming up the battlefield here, as the Doom Knights were able to escape that. And look, keeping 13 Doom Knights alive is pretty good. You know, they're really good against large targets now with their anti-large, but they're also really good at clearing out like smaller stuff as well. Archon escapes the pit fight, almost is able to get the Supreme Sorceress in the act of it. Supreme Sorceress going to be sitting at 1300 HP here, as the Bloodrack Medusa going to be leveling some shots at Archon, and well, she's doing some damage there. Alright, Lesser Doombolt does some nice damage against Archon. Definitely an unsummon in the Hell Cannon would be warranted. 2 Marauders are going to be zipping over here. And that Bastion of Chaos Infantry, man, they didn't hear no bell. They've just been fighting here all freaking day. Getting charged by Chariots. Granted, Scourge Runners don't have the best AP, so they won't kill Chaos Warriors super quickly. And these Chaos Warriors and Aspiring Champions, they're hanging in there. Might be able to beat these Witch Elves, although with the Witches brew active, they do a shit ton of damage. It's pretty crunk. Archon having to hide in the back a little bit as some Aspiring Champions do make their way up. Points are very, very close. On the backside, we do see some Horsemen being chased by the Doomfire Warlocks, which for Kane is a pretty easy call. You just run into the woods, call out some Hellstriders, and wreck these guys. We'll see if he ends up doing it. Maybe the Hellstriders are in reserve or haven't recharged after having died earlier. We'll find out in a second, and it looks like they're just going to get caught. So the Marauder Horsemen do get caught and killed there. Marauders heading up to the point. Warriors of Chaos are up on point, so Kane is up to 615 against 561. So very, very tight game here. So we have another pit fight in the middle. The Chaos Infantry block still fighting hard. The Ganeth Executioner is finally breaking. And Witch Elves, how they do? Got about 600 value. Not bad, considering they're fighting something that was very heavily armored. Archon rolling dirty. I don't know about the Winds of Magic situation, but Spirit Leech is still on the table. That was going to be my question. Now, Spirit Leeching the Supreme Sorceress, not a bad idea. Granted, I think getting the Medusa would have been a better play, but in the heat of the moment, it's hard to see. They're right next to each other. The Bloodrack Medusa, though, might have been able to kill it and break it, which would take its shooting off the table. Here's some Aspiring Champions being beaten down by the Charybdis. Marauders are going to be reinforcing the middle objective. Dark Elves not doing anything to play objective 1 right now. Rather, just going to be fighting over the middle objective right here. But Archon coming with the steel chair, maybe going to drag down the Supreme Sorceress, who delved way too greedily and way too deeply here. Definitely should not have been in there. Oh, there she goes. All right, so Supreme Sorceress getting bonked off the Manticore by Archon with the Slayer of Kings, and he's looking pretty good. As now Hellstriders coming in. And with that Lord kill there, I mean, I think Archon he'll lose to the Charybdis in his current state, but if he gets a little bit of support from some like Hellstrider surrounds or something like that, should be able to get it done. A couple Chaos Warriors going to be coming to the middle, and Spirit Leech activated onto the Charybdis, which is sitting at a low amount of HP right now. Charybdis not the best anti-infantry, but you know it can do something against troops. It's kind of like a Walmart Hydra in that way. I still think Hydras are just better. I mean, the leadership thing is cool, but the breath attacks on the Hydra and the regeneration is just so much better. Like, and Hydras can fight big targets reasonably well, too. Granted, the bonus first large in the Charybdis is plus 30, so, I mean, if you really know they're going to be fighting something big, maybe the Charybdis is better, but yeah, we'll see. Archon's going to be going in with the steel chair. He's got his mighty steed here, and it looks like the Medusa not going to be long for this world, as Archon does take the beast down. Dorgar getting the killing blow. Oh, no, looks like the Medusa, nope, it's down for the count. So his demon horse was able to get the trampling blow. Chaos going to be solidifying 2 points. Aspiring Champions anchoring here is going to be very tough, and Doom Knights still going strong. Looks like they might consider diving in here, or maybe they have their bombardment ability, I'm not sure. Couple Chaos Infantry overextending a little bit, chasing into enemy territory. Not the worst mistake in the world, as they do have some reserves back here. And they're no mere Marauders. These are going to be Chaos Warriors as well, with a couple Marauders mixed in. Cryptus going to be gathering, and now, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be having a final Duel of Fates. As the old archers here, the Dark Riders going to be shooting into the Knights of Immolation. Might be able to rat off these Harpies. Archon going to be attacking into the Witch Elves, which normally are very good at killing Marauder types. But Archon, he's got to be careful. I mean, Chaos could throw this game. If Claw's able to get a kill on Archie, finish him off, I mean, that could break the back of the Chaos Army for sure. I mean, they do have a couple Marauder troops, which would really suffer to the leadership penalty. Hellstriders don't have the craziest leadership either. They are immune to terror and whatnot, which is really nice, but they could get broken off. All right, big pit fight right here, and we do see Chaos Knights with Lances coming in. Chaos Knights with Lances are very risky against Dark Elves. I advise against them myself. I mean, sure, they might thrive in this situation, but in general, most Dark Elf meta is spamming a lot of Cold One Knights, and Cold One Knights are like a hard counter against them. So it's a little bit risky. Granted, if they're clearing out like Witch Elf spam and, Bleak Sword, Dark Riders, Doomfire Warlocks, they can do really well, mind you. So we'll see what kind of a situation they're going to get here as the Knights of Chaos do surge forth. Hellstriders helping out Archon. Archon is still hanging in there with the Slayer of Kings, 729 weapon strength. The Dark Riders get completely rolled over, and the Hellstriders going to continue rampaging and chasing. Over here on the point, Chaos Knights do try and charge into the Harpies, but they want to stay away from the Cryptus, which is certainly smart. Aspiring Champions still hanging over there, and that's the thing about Aspiring Champions, right? They have 13 of their 16 models, so they still have a ton of capture weight, because it is based on the remaining models on those units, if I'm not mistaken. All right, Witch Elves arriving in, and the Aspiring Giga Chads of Chaos going to be standing their ground to meet them in combat. Witch Elves with the Witch's Brew can certainly take some of these bad boys down, so we're going to see if they're going to pop it. Looks like some Cold One Knights do get in there. I believe that was a Cold One Knight flank, or those were just Dark Riders, actually. Okay. So Hellstrider should make pretty quick work of them. Taking one Hellstrider to chase down the Repeater Crossbow Cav in the back would be very good. We do also see some Dark Shards here. Okay, that's going to be some nice DPS. As the Chaos Knights do swoop around, and it is getting to the danger zone for the Dark Elves, getting to the point where they could lose on just one objective, and Chaos could potentially call a Helm's Deep. A couple of Hellstriders going to be surging forth, maybe looking to chase down those Dark Riders. We will see. Cryptus lurking here, being attacked by some anti-large. Oh, that's a cool shot. Archon leading the Chaos Knights is so heavy metal. I mean, Chaos Knights are so freaking heavy metal. They're going to be running down some of these Dark Riders right here, able to definitely hammer them, but they are eating a lot of armor piercing in the process. Granted, Chaos Mobility here. That's, I think, 2 Hellstriders and a Chaos Knight. They should be able to easily push those guys back. In the middle, Chaos Warriors holding firm. The low AP of the Scourge Runner and the Cryptus struggling to get through them. Archon moving in, though. He's better watch out. That Cryptus is nearby. It's a little bit dangerous. Call-ins here are going to be Chaos Warriors, and that is a preemptive fortification of objective number 3 here, so Homie's just trying to fortify that. Hang in there, see what we can get going. So a couple Chaos Knights now going to be surging towards the middle, as are the old Hellstriders. So Hellstriders getting ready to attack. Archon playing a dangerous game. The Cryptus is so freaking cool. Man, it really bums me out when I see, Dark Elves and Chaos Dwarves. And so I play Warhammer the Old World tabletop sometime, and Games Workshop made, a handful of those factions, air quotes, legacy factions, which means they don't get any rule support, and they just get some, Haggard rules that fall out of date and don't get updated. No Arcane Journals, no anything like that. And Dark Elves are one of them, which is so weird to me, because Dark Elves are such a... I feel like they're a pretty important part of the story, Warhammer Fantasy. I mean, the whole thing with them and the High Elves and Malekith's history. Yeah, I do hope that gets changed someday, but that'd be pretty cool to get all of them getting a little bit of love in Arcane Journals and whatnot. I do feel like my conspiracy theory is that Games Workshop was originally going to have them included, but there was some weird drama that made them change at the last minute. That's my conspiracy theory, because they wrote rules for all those factions, and then suddenly they're like, oh wait, these are legacy, they're legacy, but they looked like pretty fleshed out rules. And obviously, with the balancing patches that come with Old World, they start to fall out of date because they don't get touched, really. I mean, little things here and there, but yeah, damn shame, Jimmy. Damn shame. All right, Hellstriders attacking into these guys. Objective 3 for Chaos, Objective 2 for Chaos, but it looks like the Dark Elves may be going to get this one with their Ganeth Executioners, and Objective 1 is now going to flip to Chaos, which I think is going to seal the deal. Even though Dark Elves are trading Okan value, they now have Ganeth in the field. Yeah, you can see the Dark Shards are going to get shut down here. Chaos Knight's going to run them over. I just don't think there's a chance for them to really get this. And the Warriors of Chaos are going to rotate to objective number 2 here. They're going to grab the goodies, and that should be enough capture weight. So that's going to be, enough to outmuscle the Dark Elves there. And that is going to be all she wrote as we do approach the last quarters here of the game. Chaos Knight's able to finish off the Bolt Fiends. A couple Harpies going to jump in, and they might be able to break the leadership of these tattered units here. Repeater Crossbow Cav in the back, going to be shooting where they can. Meanwhile, objective number 2 does look to be another epic epic Harganeth fight. And we'll end the game here. A victory for the Warriors of Chaos, but a moral victory here for these Harganeths, looking very, very badass. Although Aspiring Champions also look very cool. GG, well played. Servants of Chaos get the victory. And let's look at the breakdown. So, I mean, Dark Elves went pretty hard in the paint and killing the Hell Cannon, and it was able to shoot for a long time before it got shut down. So that was pretty unfortunate. Archon with 3,500 value. I always love seeing classic Chaos Warriors. Certainly not the most meta choice, but Aspiring Champions, I think, get some play in this matchup. The Doom Knights didn't do badly either. Chaos Knights, very odd pick, but cool to see them nonetheless. If you're going to be using Chaos Knights in this matchup, probably you want to use the Sword and Board variant and use Plague of Rust. Because in that case, you could Plague of Rust Golden Knights, fight in, get in there and fight, and then they'll win the fight. But aside from that, it's a tricky pick. Honestly, the Harganeth Executioners would have been better on a map where you have a home objective. But still, they didn't do bad. 1,400 and 1,100 there. Other performers, the Medusa did pretty good. And yeah, we did see the Dark Shards come in and get some value, which Elves didn't do terribly either. Gribdus, though, 1,500. Hey, man, not bad. All right, guys, hopefully you enjoyed that. We'll see you on the other side. And that is going to be it for tonight.